Okay, so Chris Terrio, the writer for The Rise of Skywalker, tries to explain why Palpatine's return made sense for Episode 9. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't. but with that being said, let's go ahead and hear what Chris has to say about this, and we'll see what he says.
To the person he loves, Padme, played by Natalie Portman. And so the Skywalker Palpatine sort of family dynasty tragedy, like any kind of Greek tragedy between two great houses, was deep in the DNA of Star Wars. And so we knew that Palpatine had to be a presence in the film in some way. And as it turned out, there was this gift that George Lucas wrote that was sitting there, because there's a scene in one of the prequels in which Palpatine says to Hayden Christensen, Anakin Skywalker, which is directly quoted in the film, "The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural." And it was hanging there as this tease of non-natural abilities the Sith had to prolong life even after death. And so JJ and I thought we'd be crazy not to pick up that thread and tie all the trilogies together, because there's the Jedi way of life, which is self-sacrifice and giving your life for others and letting your spirit join the Force like those who've gone before you. And then there's the Sith way of looking at life, which is unnaturally clinging to the material life for self-interest. I moderated.
So basically, according to Chris Terrio, they needed to bring him back because they had to. That's a great response. No, you didn't need to bring back Emperor Palpatine, because bringing back Emperor Palpatine, and I'm sure that there's plenty of people that have talked about this before. I've talked about this as well. Bringing back Emperor Palpatine completely nullifies everything that came before this. It completely makes Darth Vader's entire story completely useless, where he sacrifices himself, where he's the chosen one, where he's Anakin Skywalker going through life, and then he falls, and people thought that was over, and then he ends up actually fulfilling his destiny by destroying Emperor Palpatine and sacrificing himself in doing that. It completely makes that entire thing irrelevant. Horrible. That's why The Rise of Skywalker is my least favorite of all of the Disney Star Wars movies, and my least favorite Star Wars movie ever, because of that right there, that completely just destroying of Anakin's storyline. And not only that, but it completely makes Luke Skywalker's story kind of useless as well. Like, the only one that's really important anymore is Rey. And I absolutely despise that with every ounce of my being. She's not even a Skywalker, and she's the one that defeats Emperor Palpatine. Are you kidding me? Really? Of course, she's the granddaughter of Palpatine. She's a Palpatine. The cringe. Anyway, I found this very interesting down here as well. This is from, this is in one of the replies here to this video. Scottish actor Ian McDiarmid, who is best known for playing Emperor Palpatine since 1983's Star Wars Return of the Jedi, spoke with USA Today in 2013 and was asked about whether or not he'd be interested in working with J.J. Abrams on Star Wars The Force Awakens. And I know that J.J. Abrams has been saying, like, oh, well, it's been planned from the beginning to bring back Emperor Palpatine. No, it hasn't. And it's so painstakingly obvious that this was only a decision made for this film, because you were backed into a corner by The Last Jedi, because you really didn't have anywhere else to go after The Last Jedi, thanks to Rian Johnson. Thank you so much for Rian Johnson. But if this whole trilogy wasn't based so much on Emperor Palpatine and having that be the most important final factor in this entire thing, then it probably wouldn't be quite as horrible. But unfortunately, that's where we're at right now. So anyway, during the interview, McDiarmid mentioned they had a conversation with George Lucas in which the Star Wars creator said that he considered Palpatine dead, hinting at his original plans for the sequel trilogy not to bring him back. I remember saying, "Is he dead, George?" at that time, and he said, "Yes, he is. Absolutely dead." That is coming from the man himself, George Lucas. Of course he was dead. Of course he was dead. I mean, first of all, the way that he dies, of course he's going to be dead after that. But second of all, the poetic story of how Anakin Skywalker, who fell at the hands of Emperor Palpatine and then ends up being the one that destroys him at the end of Return of the Jedi, is just so beautiful. It is so great. It is such a fantastic story. And now, if you consider Disney's Star Wars part of the canon, that completely makes Darth Vader's story completely useless. 100%. And there's no way of arguing against that. What was the point of Darth Vader if he wasn't the one that went through his entire arc of rising to become a great Jedi, falling at the hands of Emperor Palpatine, and then rising again to defeat Emperor Palpatine to fulfill his destiny as the chosen one? You know, what's the point? What's the point of any of that now? There isn't a point anymore, which is why I absolutely disagree with what Chris Terrio says here, that they needed to bring him back because they had to, because they borrowed another line from Revenge of the Sith to explain how he comes back and all that type of stuff. None of this makes sense, and it's just such a trash fire, which is why I think Rise of Skywalker has done even more damage than The Last Jedi in regards to the general scope of Star Wars, which is why I'm never going to watch this movie again. I will absolutely never watch Rise of Skywalker ever again. In fact, like I've said before, I think I'm pretty much just done with Disney Star Wars, to be completely honest. I'm just going to have the 6, George Lucas's 6, and that's going to be it. Now, I haven't watched Mandalorian yet. I know a lot of people are telling me to check it out. Maybe I'll check it out. But with that being said, I don't know. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this, but I find this to be a really absurd response to how Emperor Palpatine comes back and why he comes back, because it just makes sense. It makes sense because it fulfills the family dynasty. Okay, like, there wasn't even really, like, it's just ridiculous. It's just absurd beyond belief. So anyway, let me know in the comments below what you think about Chris Terrio's response. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I'll talk to you all very soon in another video. Talk to you later. Bye.
Hey everyone, it's Jeremy from geeksandgamers.com, and if you're a fan of Geeks and Gamers, please go to our website, visit our merchandise store. We have t-shirts, hoodies, hats, beanies, tank tops, and in the very near future, we're going to have many more products for you to choose from. So thank you for the support. We appreciate it. You guys have a great day, and we will talk to you later.